job making the way through early on in that silver and yellow Ferrari.
It's Peter Mackay with me, John Hindhaugh in the blue. Hello to Paul Ayling, says the fact I can spot the Team Parker Racing Continental GT Bentley anywhere on the circuit, day and night, thanks to its green lippy. Yeah, it does have that that band around the radiator intake grille. How many hits before track limits get counted? They are being counted right now, but I know what you mean, Colonel. He says also part, he said, why do F1 race its Middle East circuits like Abu Dhabi and Qatar when this stunning circuit exists? It was built for F1. It was built for F1. And there's a whole story. If you go on to your favourite online encyclopedia, there's a whole story about that. But basically, once Abu Dhabi and Bahrain got it, I think there was some Formula One testing here, and then they banned out of season testing, and it hurt this circuit and Portimao, actually. Action in the midfield already, Peter.
Oh, it's not the midfield. This is a battle for the podium. Toby Sowery's moved up into second in that new GT4 Evo BMW for Paradine competition, and Max Hessler, the BMW factory driver, has moved past Alexei Nevov. So our pole sitter, Pure Racing, they've gone from first to fourth in the early 13 minutes of this race, and those new Evo BMWs are looking really strong. Yes, they have two strong drivers aboard, but it's looking good for that new Munich machine.
If our RFID information is to be believed, there is some very different tyre strategy at the front of the field. With Michelin comes the RFID. I'm not sure that that's right at the moment, so I'm going to wait for that to clear and see how that comes in. But at the moment, it would seem that quite a lot of people started on tyres that had done a little piece of work. Now, I believe that. I think you might have wanted to scrub off the release agent. There's a silver oxide that Michelin used that gives that shiny look when they come out the moulds. But I'm not sure that we've got tens of laps on tyres before we started. We're on lap 7 at the moment, so 8 and 9 and 10, yes, I believe. 46, I'm not sure about. So
it's certainly not the car that's pulling away at the front of the field to 3.5 seconds.
Either that or they found something about the tyres that nobody else knew.
Exactly, its peak is not at lap 46, that's for sure. It does look like that late balance of performance change for the Porsche, 20 kilograms. Added on, that is really well, making it look quite easy there. But Alexei Nevov is trying his best to try and fend off the challenges. He's good on the brakes, good around the corners, but they're just losing so much straight line speed with that extra 20 kilo.
Now, that's a bit of bodywork coming off the Porsche as it goes through the corner. That was two side-by-side machines.
Ferrari, I think it's the back of the bit.
Oh, do you?
Ferrari, yes, and there's a lot of aero work on both of these cars. These are very much the new generation of GT3 cars, the Ferrari 296 and the Porsche 992 GT3R. They've got a lot of aero. It's almost like the old, not quite to the level of the old GTE cars, but getting towards it.
Now that's coming down to the final corner now. That's the Porsche of Herbert, one of Herbert's cars, isn't it? The 92 that's right in that battle as they go across the line now with the Ferrari number 8, the Inter Africa car.
92 is Pure Racing.
Pure Racing, sorry, yes. See, they've changed numbers on me again. So that was Dragon Racing and Pure Racing, Matt Bell and Alexei Nevov. So Matt Bell going through there in the local Dragon Racing car into 4th position. I've now changed my tune twice on this over the weekend, because when I was here earlier in the week and we got a little sneaky look into the back of the Rossa, and Phil Hansen actually showed me a picture and I said, that's a Lamborghini or an Audi engine, and I can tell that just looking at the plenums. And then we got information that it was a 5-litre V10 Judd engine. Well, Gerard Jurasex, hello mate, thank you very much indeed, has tracked down the BOP, and I've been looking for this and I couldn't find it, so thank you for this. It is a 5.2, so if it's a 5.2, that is an Audi or a Lambo engine. So I go back to my first statement that when we saw it with the cover off, it was the plenums that gave it away. So I think as it was tracked down, it was an interview given about the road car that was talking about the Judd V10. And Peter Mackay, your considerably younger eyes than mine, were spot on. That was Ferrari bodywork at the back of that Matt Bell driven car.
Yeah, and the good thing about this latest model Ferrari, the 296, and we saw it at the Nürburgring in 2023 when Frickadelli won the race, and they wouldn't have won the race if the whole rear clip, basically the entire rear section of the car, can be replaced as a one. I wouldn't want to know how much it is in the Ferrari parts catalogue, but it can be basically clipped off the whole rear wing, the exhaust, everything, and then a new one put on. So Dragon Racing, if they've got a spare, I would imagine they may well be preparing one of those for the next stop, because the aero work on the rear of the car is so important for stability. The Lappery has already begun, despite having such a fast field and a very little number of solar class cars. Already the Lappery has begun after just 19 minutes of racing.
It's the first of 4 international endurance race weekends that we have for you live and free through Radio Show Limited's audio and visual channels, along with our partners Creventic and IMSA. We'll kick off IMSA Radio and IMSA TV not next weekend but the weekend after, with the Daytona, Rolex Daytona 24, Michelin Pilot Challenge, Mazda MX-5s as well on the high banks. Looking forward to that. And then the weekend after that, the Maguires Bathurst 12 Hours, back to the mountain. 4 consecutive weekends makes it a quartet of quality endurance racing. 4 fabulous race weekends, and it's all live and free on the Radio Show Limited network of audio and visual channels. A variety of voices that you'll be hearing over the next few weekends. This is going nicely as into the pit lane. Not going nicely for Aston Martin and that very bright green and yellow, the MC platform sponsored car. This is the number 41.
Come to you racing.
Yeah,
they've got 2 cars here. Big effort from the Belgian outfit, and it's being wheeled back into the garage. The Aston Martin GT3 Evo.
And Nick Damon down in the pit lane is somewhat perturbed at what he's seen as he makes his way back towards that come to you machine.
Yeah. It's just, you've probably got the P button somewhere. One of the Ferraris just trundled down the pit lane, and I think it's Ferrari.
Yeah,
went straight for fuel.
Yes.
Is that the Era car? They're obviously trying. I think you know what it is. I think they're trying to get themselves out of traffic again. I've just had a really interesting conversation with a driver who knows an awful lot about Creventic racing, been doing it for a number of years. Asked to remain anonymous. And it's kind of apt now we're getting to lapping. He says one of the big differences between the Michelin and the Hankook is the Michelin is, he said, much more attractive to pick up and takes much longer to clear the pickup off. So, just so you know, people are going to be less inclined to go offline, because apparently you can take 3 laps to get the pickup off the cars, which wasn't the situation with the Hankook tyres in previous years.
Yeah,
insight, well done.
That's compound.
Do you think, in general, a Michelin road tyre is renowned for its actually softness but durability at the same time? You put new Michelin tyres on your road car, you know, which I have to say are all of our cars at home are all Michelin tyres. Make it sound like you've got this big grand collection, but all 2 of them have Michelin tyres on.
Hang on, let me think.
Got more than me.
No, well, yeah, but all bar 1 are on Michelin, and the one that isn't is on Hankook.
There you go.
And that is bought, by the way, those tyres. That is
likewise.
Absolutely for the Hankooks was absolutely because of what they did in racing, and they actually won Summer Tyre of the Year at one stage. Couple of people asking what time it starts to get dark here. Well, actually we've got under 5 hours of official daylight left now, believe it or not. The sunset tonight is 5:49 local time, and it's 21 minutes past 1. And then the sunrise tomorrow will be at 4 minutes past 7. So you can do the darkness on that. This race and the Rolex 24 Daytona vie for the longest amount of time between sunset and sunrise. It was dead even, I think, last year.
Yeah, it's a lot
to the minute.
The difference here is, I mean, Daytona is lit quite significantly, but not as much as here at the Dubai Autodrome. Nick Damon's got an update for us on what's happened with the number 41. Come to you, Aston. Nick.
Yeah, it's not good news at all. Actually, as you can see, no one's working on the car, and they've done the shaking hands and this isn't great. The cameras here, but you cut up yet, but they are not very happy about what's been going on. Yeah, if we could cut the camera up, and what you would see is a rear drive shaft and differential system that's already been taken apart. They had some drive shaft problems from the differential as well, and they've done it again. It's blown again, and I think that's it for them. I think this car may well be parked. I'm not sure. I think Nicholas. I'm not sure if Nicholas was in the car at the time. Did you start the car, Nicholas Blair? Just grab a quick word with him. Nicholas, were you in the car?
Yeah, I was in the car, but we didn't take the start because we had a small issue yesterday evening during the night practice. The whole crew tried to repair the car and find what was the exact problem on the car. Sadly, during the warm-up this morning, it looks like we didn't really find what was happening. And now, before the race start, we just also had the same issue on the outlap to go on the grid. So we spent, I think, now more than 1 hour trying to find out and repair. And that was, let's say, our last hope. I mean, that's racing, we know.
So I was told it was a drive shaft, but this is a mystery drive line problem, is it?
Yeah, it's something related between the drive shaft, the gearbox, and the diff. We need to inspect further to really know what's the real problem.
And it looks like you guys have scratched the car. Yeah, is that it?
Yeah, it will be difficult. We are missing some spare parts, so it's like this.
It's desperately bad luck. Thank you for talking to us. That's Nicholas Baird out of the 41 Come To You car. Really bad luck.
I'm not sure anybody had an Aston Martin down as their first retirement, but it seems that they haven't got the parts to finish that. Hello to Benny Carrillo, who has used the hashtag 24H series at RSL_studio. He said, am I the only one who finds it strange not to see CP racing on the grid? From the very first time I started watching 24H series Dubai, they've been in it. It's a good point. Charles Putnam and the rest of the guys basically having their farewell tour last year and going out in some style, of course, with race victories and championship campaign in 2024. It is a bit of a miss. There have been a miss, in fairness, one of the stalwarts of the teams. However, racing moves on. But we've replaced them with people coming back like Scuderia Prague.
Yes, that's very true. No, CP Racing will definitely be missed. They're a great crew. A bunch of American drivers used to make the journey over for the whole season, and they were just, every family has a member that's the glue of the family. And the 24H series family, CP Racing, were that glue. They were just such a joy to have around. They were a joy for us to work with. We always had great fun with them. Shane Lewis, one of their drivers, had the most amazing pair of sideburns. He does have the most amazing pair of sideburns, and we even measured them on air once. They're great fun and greatly missed. Hopefully they're tuning in. If you are, guys, we miss you. But what great years they were. But you're absolutely right, John. There are so many great teams returning this year, and some new faces too, which we offer a big welcome to the 24H series paddock. But at the front of the field, it's Windward Racing who are just marching on. 2.8 seconds to the good right now. Gabriele Piana putting in an excellent stint. Then it's Toby Sowry for Paradine Competition with their new BMW, and then another of the new BMWs, Max Hesse for the 777 Almanar Racing Team by Team WRT. So proper factory stuff going on there. Then it's Matt Bell, number 88 for Dragon Racing Ferrari. Alexei Nezov in the pole sitting Pure Racing Porsche. Porsche, they're going to have to fight hard. They sit in 5th. Sergei Sorokin, the former Formula 1 driver for SMP Racing, is 6th. Then it's Kai van Berlo making moves forward in the 91 Herbert Porsche. He's being chased by Klaus Bachler. Bit of a mystery drawn, Klaus Bachler, because he started up a little bit further up the field. He's dropped back to 8th. Hasn't been the best weekend for him. He had a difficult qualifying session yesterday as well.
Well, you can't write them out though, can you? Nor that car. And we've also seen with people like Ralph Bourne how there can be tyre whisperers and how that works. Throughout the second part of the race, there's been some discussion up and down the pit lane about double stinting tyres, even potentially in the heat of the day, but double or triple stinting the Michelin Racing slicks here in the cooler of the night, depending on which table you look at. I've got sunset at 17:49 tonight and sunrise tomorrow at 7:04. That would be 13 hours and 15 minutes, but that's a very, very long official darkness period.
And it's not a dimmer switch here, it's a light switch. It goes from daylight to off. Problem for the number 127. This is the SRS Sorg.
This is the car that started last.
It did. It's running in the TCE class. It's a GT4 Club Sport machine for SRS.
And they'd moved up to 2nd place in that TCX class and moved up a couple of positions at least for Yutaka Seki, who started that race. They've just had a little stall or something, and
spin there. They've just spun.
It was a spin, was it? Yes, it was a spin. I saw the recovery. Didn't see the
Yutaka. He's won his. He's been with SRS team Sorg Rennsport in the past. He won his class last year at the Nürburgring 24, and he's won his class twice at the Nürburgring 24. So knows how to get the job done in 24-hour races.
So they've got ahead of the Asbest Racing Lian Cup car, and they're trying to chase. They've been trying to chase down Christian Ladurner in the Asbest Seat. No, that's the other way around.
Yes.
Right. So the pole sitting car from TCE was the Cupra, the full TCR car. That's down in 3rd in the TCE class now. The Leon Cup car, which I think is a 2017 version of that car, wasn't the original version. That's now leading, and it was being caught by SRS Sorg Rennsport before they just put a bit of a slow lap in with that spin.
So that's going to be a battle. Porsche against the Cupra and the Seat right through in TCE. 3 cars having a good old battle, but there's a great battle going on between 2 Porsches. This is the battle over 7th position, Kai van Berlo and Klaus Bachler. Van Berlo in the multicoloured Herbert car. Herbert coming out with another great livery. They had a black and gold sort of late 70s Lotus throwback last year. Now they've got this real multicoloured effort. It looks fantastic. Chasing down the Visit Dubai back dynamic GT Porsche of Klaus Bachler. So both cars, your die-cast too much about the pace of the Porsches after that late balance of performance change. The Pure Racing car does appear to have its pace blunted a little bit with that extra 20 kilos. Of course, all the Porsches carry it. It's not down to one specific team. It's down to the car itself. And they're being chased by the McLaren of Benji Gota, who's made a great start to the race, moving up the field. He's up to 9th, and the McLaren was one of the cars that was given a little bit of extra boost pressure overnight.
Hello to James in Waite Park, Minnesota. Have no clue what early hours or late hours it is with you. I can't do that arithmetic.
5 in the morning?
Yeah, it's going to be quite early on, isn't it? It's 9:30 GMT at the moment. Minnesota, I think, is -5 to that. So could be 4 o'clock in the morning. James, thanks for joining us. Jesse asking, do we know how many are doing the Dubai Daytona double, or the Dubai Bathurst double, or the Daytona Bathurst double, or the Daytona Dubai Bathurst triple? Ryan DL's doing here and Daytona. I'll need to go through the other entry lists. But we've got Abu Dhabi next weekend as well, of course. 3 wide, a moment or two ago, going into turn number 7, and coming out at the front of that as everybody breathed in just a
Benji Gota.
little bit was Benji Gota.
Flying, isn't he? He's a young Benji. Who went past Kai van Berlo there in the Porsche. It was a big slide coming through one of the little switchback sections there. So the McLaren 720S of Optimum Motorsport, the British crew that run the Inception Racing team, you might have seen them at Le Mans, etc. Pulsators actually at Le Mans last year, but they're brilliant. They've got brilliant hospitality there. When you go into the back of their garage, they've got a coffee machine with the for those who have watched the Ted Lasso series, and Ted Lasso is all about positive thinking, and they've got the sticker above the coffee machine that just says, it's got a picture of Ted Lasso giving the double thumbs up, and then it just says believe underneath. So when you're in the middle of the night, it's 3 in the morning, trying to fight back, that's for a little reminder for the team to keep on fighting. And boy oh boy are they fighting at the moment, as Benji Gota's up to 8th place and does not show any signs of slowing down at all.
Team CMR Ginetta being spotted by Calibra 95, going slightly slower than it did yesterday, only 2 seconds quicker than the GT4s. Yesterday in quali it was 7 seconds quicker, lost almost 20 seconds at the start. From Spain, that's coming in. We'll see if there's a problem there with Rodrigo Gion, just ahead actually of the recovering Ryan DL in the ERA Motorsport car, who's already made a pit and a fuel stop. Pit for a tyre on the outlap and have come in and topped off that ERA Ferrari, so sitting down in 13th in Pro Am and 29th overall of the GT3 car, so well off the pace at the moment, and I think off the lead lap. Yes, just off the lead lap right now, with Winward Racing's Gabriele Piana just holding it, what appears to be just holding his pace at the moment, lapping 2:01.1 last time around. So Toby Sowry took a couple of tenths away from him, but around about 1.5 seconds, that gap between first and second, Peter.
That's the closest it's been for a little while, so Toby Sowry is really good, and this is something that the BMW factory have worked really hard on with this new BMW M4 GT3 Evo. On the outside it doesn't look a great deal different, but a lot of the changes are underneath the surface. It's got new front and rear anti-roll bars, it's got a much finer and easier to adjust differential. The whole target with it is to reduce the tyre wear and to reduce the brake wear. It's actually got slightly larger rear brakes as well, so as we get deeper into the stint, the longevity of the tyre is so important, and that appears to be working for BMW.
Devi Awema from Sportscar 365 is on site. Believe it or not, though, we've been here for a few days. I haven't managed to bump into Davey yet. They posted over 20 stories on Sportscar 365 yesterday between Jamie Price, Davey Awema and John de Geese. Incredible stuff from as far afield as here, Japan, and back in the US. He says that Zachary Robichon is doing the triple. So here, Daytona 24 and Bathurst 12. If you know of any more, please let us know at RSL Studio, and the hashtag is 24H Series. I almost don't want to say this, Peter, but we've settled nicely into a run of laps with leaders coming through the field. My tracker has everybody spread out around the 5.3 kilometre track, so this is very much at odds at what we saw at the start of the race, which frankly was bewildering. There was so much going on at the start of the race. A brilliant start to the 2025 season.
So it was like a touring car race at the start, and the thing is, when you have a racer's mindset, a racer's brain, you just do not want to give the best to your rivals, and always you're going to have the team on the radio saying keep it calm, keep it under control.
Toby Sowry in the bright red BMW started from the outside of the 4th row and didn't actually get a blistering start. He was up into, he was still 8th at the first corner, but he managed to pick his way through. It was the side-by-side action at the front of the field between the Winward Gabriele Piana car and the Pure Racing pole sitter, and Piana just about to squeeze through turn 2, but then he was on the wrong side at 3 and 4, and I thought he was going to lose that there, but he hung it out. So by the time he got to 5, he really attacked that curb on the left-hander, and 6 and 7 he was in the lead. But where and how did Toby Sowry get through? He just absolutely carved his way through. Now
he's going to make a move for the lead now. He does. So Sowry to the front. He's run down Gabriele Piano, who's maybe gone a little bit too hard too early, taking a little bit of life out of the tyre possibly without setting that lap record early on. But Toby Sowry for Paradin competition goes to the front of the field in that brand new BMW M4 GT3 Evo. I would imagine the folks at Paul Miller Racing and Turner Motorsport who are expecting delivery of those cars for Daytona, they're probably getting a little bit of a wry smile at the moment, thinking we have got a good car on our hands. Again, it looks pretty similar on the outside, but underneath they've made some improvements, and Toby Sowry is doing an amazing job. To the front of the field he goes, ahead of former winner here, Gabriele Piana, and of course Max Hesse has gone onto the scene as well. He's right there in third behind Piana.
I think it's very interesting the way Toby Sowry's gone about this, because he didn't make the big jump off the start line. He was still in 8th at the first corner, still in 8th as he came through turn 9, and then he just started picking people off as they were having their scraps. It wasn't the side-by-side that was going on at the front of the field that eventually netted Gabriele Piana in the number 16 Winward Racing AMG the lead. But the top three now absolutely together as they ride the left-hand side curbs coming down to the final corner. Ahead of them, a whole gaggle of 992 Cup cars. They cross underneath our feet right now and head towards the first corner. Grandstands full of excited fans, and we've had even more this year thanks to our Tamil movie star. There is a big Kumar fan club here, I think it's fair to say. And whether they know about his racing exploits or not, I'm not sure. So the top three, well, they do now. Also, by the way, I should say that Dubai 92 have been running ads, and I think Dubai 92 are doing a live broadcast from here as well today. I was listening to them in the new Porsche Macan. Thank you to Porsche Middle East.
Is it the electric one?
Yeah.
What do you think?
You'll have to wait to my real-world road test. Testing the infrastructure as well as the car.
I wonder if it's going to be as good as the Bentayga.
Wow.
It gets quite a good review.
It just did it really.
I rolled onto my back there. This is wonderful.
Battle at turn 10 for the lead, and picking their way through traffic. Sowry, that new BMW looks exceptionally planted. Exception as Hesse got
Hesse's got through. Yeah, Hesse's through to second in the Almanar Racing by Team WRT car. Hesse, he was on the headlight flasher there. I think it's got a new headlight flash system as well. And
of course it has.
I'm not going with that joke. That's too easy. But yeah, Almanar Racing pair up with Team WRT, a team who have had a lot of success here. Very good, but into the pits.
Yeah, the 938, that's one of the many 992 Porsches. It's the GP Racing team. Well, it's mostly got this very lovely blue wrap, but it's come in for a pit stop. Now, it's obviously absolutely not a planned stop, because they've come in, and I'm pretty certain the driver has reported it feels a bit funny. They've waggled all the wheels looking for a wheel issue. They actually had prepared one of those very famous and very expensive rubber understrips that the Porsches have right in the front of the nose, thinking perhaps what he's saying is because that's fallen off. They've had a look around, but they've actually changed driver, and Mr. Permanent has got out and somebody else has got in, but they've and they found nothing. So Gabrielle Permanent got out. They found absolutely nothing. So that's very strange. I don't know how good Gabrielle's English is. I'm always prepared to give it a go, see what's happening. He's just been chatting to his team for a second. Gabriel English? He can tell me very good English. He doesn't speak English. So there we are. But yeah, so he's obviously felt the car was wrong, and they sent somebody else to feel the car is right. Quick thing, by the way, the other piece of information I got from my tyre man conversation was the tyres begin to go, not so much go off, but drop off after being 15 and 16 laps, and then they don't feel bad. They just get slower, and I suppose the longer how you've treated them in those first 15, 16 laps will depend on what the drop off is.
Qu'est-ce que c'est le problème, Gabriel?
Yeah, well, I've only got CSE grade 4 French. I've got a qualification so low it doesn't exist anymore.
Absolutely.
Well, that's exactly how it's played out, because we've gone from 150, let's call it 158 flat would be the top running pace. It's now gone to 202 being the top running pace in 20 laps time. So you've got that quick peak early on, and then goes to a plateau. And then I wonder how long it's going to stay at that pace. And this might come into the conversation of how do you go for that double stint or not, or do you just keep throwing new tyres at it, which you can do. There is no limit here.
Yeah. That is a very, very good point. Hello to Stephen Deray. Happy New Year, great to hear you again, he says. Missing Nico Verdonk, but he is there coaching the two Porsches 929 and 930 in the 992 Cup class, and says give him all of our best, particularly from my son Senna.
Good name.
Great name.
Good name. Hello as well to Felipe Fernandez Lazar, winner of the 2023 Nürburgring 24 Hour, who's watching at home in Germany.
And that, by the way, is the two of the HRT performance cars. They're sitting at the moment in 17th and 18th in 992, 10th and 11th in AM. Sylvain Karoff and Stefan Adler driving those two cars that Nico Verdonk is coaching. Thank you, Stephen, at RSL _studio, hashtag 24H series, as we're coming down. That's 45 minutes that we've had already. We expect, certainly at the start of the race, everybody would have brim-filled their tanks. Don't want to get too confusing, particularly for those of you who perhaps are watching this for the first time, following a particular driver. Maybe you're a Kalle Rovanperä fan, or you are a fan of one of the former F1 drivers. But the amount of fuel that you are allowed to put in the tank is not necessarily the amount of fuel the tank can take. So at the start of the race, everybody brim fills their tank. So you might have a fuel allowance that, let's say for sake of argument, is 110 litres, but you might have a 130 litre tank. So you'll have started with 130 litres in that tank. And that's why fuel strategy and using the code 60s and how you use it and when you use it, and the balance of performance of how much you're allowed to take. There are some cars who are allowed to take more fuel. There's a balance of performance on the fuel floor as well. That's all brought in to being. Rick Breukers for the Red Camel NL machine, Jordan's NL. Not a banner year for them last year. Had rather too many problems. They lost a couple of positions from their qualifying because they didn't arm the fire extinguisher. I had exactly that problem in my first ever car race, and I was just about to go out into qualifying, and I was reminded by a friendly marshal that needed to be done. That was a Ford Fiesta in 1997 at Croft on the British Touring Car Championship. And funny enough, also on the British Touring Car Championship at Croft, in a Ginetta G55 Super Cup car, as I was about to go out for my race, I think the first race, I looked across and saw that that I didn't have the pin out. But once it happens once, it becomes second nature for you as a driver to look across either the left or the right to see if the pin's in, and if it's not, you wave to your crew member or anybody who's standing outside, pull that pin for us, mate. So that car has fought its way back up. And Rick Breukers now
about where they were, because they qualified on pole and they dropped 2 spots, so they're exactly where they were. Interestingly, though,
10.5 seconds off the lead.
Yeah, they were only a sort of, not that long ago, they were only a kind of 1.5, 2 seconds off the lead, and they dropped back quite a bit. It's Paul Meyer who's actually leading the 992 Cup category in the number 992 Seb Lejeune Racing machine, which is actually an AM entry, but they're leading 992 overall. It's Paul Meyer that's at the wheel right now, the semi-pro graded driver. Huub van Eindhoven in the number 912 TFT Racing, Tierra Outdoor Racing car, and then it's Red Camel Jordans in third.
Hello, Dave Alcock, who is in a snow-covered northwest coast of England. Hello, Dave. One of our regular listeners and viewers. Watching in 1080p with 60 frames per second. Loving it back in the UK, bringing a bit of sunshine from Dubai to you wherever you are in the world. If you have to leave the TV coverage and move around, or you're getting in your car, we don't want to be distracting you, or maybe you're a little bit more bandwidth challenged, then don't forget the audio is available over on the RS1 channel at radio-show.co.uk or radiolemans.com, so you can take us with you right the way through this race. As the battle for first rages on, let's head back down to the pits and Nick Damon.
Yeah, so second of all, perhaps actually the third of our stoppers out of sequence. It's the 7x70, the Japanese piloted Porsche 992. That's car number 989. They've come in, they've done the driver change, but they've actually got an issue. It looks like it's electrical. They've taken off the electrical cover box which sits in the passenger footwell. They are having a real poke about with the electrics. And maybe it's simply trying to see if there's a fuse gone or not, but they've taken the front right wheel off to have a bit of a chance to see what's going on. There's a man with a screwdriver trying to screw down the edge of what I suppose in a normal car we calls the fuse box connector. So they just obviously aren't getting power through where they want to go. Bonnet goes down. I think they've got a successful element to it. I'll tell you what, the one thing I would say, there's a huge amount of lead screwed into that car. I assume that's being a 992 car, that's nothing to do with the change of bop we saw for the GT3s. Oh no, they were very confident. Now they stopped again. Just trying to undo. They also got an issue with the bonnet not closing properly either. That is the front cover. Obviously, there's no engine under there. They're taping that down as well. So a couple of annoying little niggles already for this 7x7 car, but I think they'll be going out very soon, John.
Nick Damon down in the pit lane. The 20 kilos added was only for the GT3 cars.
Yeah.
Didn't affect the
Cup car, no.
Cup cars.
No. That would be a bit pointless, giving the whole field the same balance of performance adjustment, wouldn't it? Because of course the 992 field, they've all in 992 Cup cars.
And I'll say it now, 992 Paul Meyer is in 29th position. Those cars go an exceedingly long way on a tank of petrol.
They do. It's often when the GT3s take their first stop, you'll see the 992s forged to the front of the field, which at the moment is led by Toby Sowry. He's doing just such a good job, isn't he? He has raced in IndyCar in the past. He did a limited program with Dale Coyne last year. He's won races in Indy Lights, now known as Indy NXT. But right now, he's matching pace toe for toe with a BMW contracted factory driver in Max Hesse, who's been through their junior program, won several races at the Nürburgring Langstrecken Series.
Moved to the Nürburgring, didn't he?
Yeah, moved there. Yeah, he won. Him and his teammates, along with Dan Harper, who's in this race as well. They won the 50th. Start that again. BMW's 50th win in the NLS. There we go. Yeah. We got there in the end. Problem though for the number 30 car collection Porsche seems to be going a little bit slow and is actually about to drop a lap down. That car is running not where it should be right
Correct.
now. It's running quite a bit down the order. Car number 30 for car.
It's running down in 33rd position. This is Matej Knetz, 12th in the Pro-Am, 28th GT3, has dropped off the lead lap already. So is that a second lap he's about to lose?
Oh, it will be. Yeah, car collection. They've not really had the luck. They were, well, actually yesterday in qualifying they did have some luck because they just missed being involved in the huge accident we saw on the back straight,
which has cost us an entry.
It has,
the
yeah.
Tresor Audi
Attempto, the car completely destroyed and no backup available at late notice. I believe we will see them in Abu Dhabi next weekend, though.
They'll be scrambling to do that. Literally, as I drove the Macan in this morning into the back of the paddock, they were picking up the remnants of the car from Parc Fermé, which included a sizable pile of just scrap bits of wheel, metal, broken bodywork, and the car was sitting somewhat forlornly on dolly jacks because that's the only way they could move it. And there's a lot of work. The rear subframe was ripped off, the rear crash structure was ripped off. There was a scrutineer inside the car taking pictures of the roll cage in there to check the integrity, I think. Meantime, the lead goes on, and as they come down towards turn number 9 and through onto the long back straight, Toby Sowry has a half a second on Max Hesse. 991 BMW from 777 Almanar Racing BMW. Then is 3 seconds back to Winwood and Gabriele Piana, the early pace setter. End of the back straight all the way down from 170-ish miles an hour. First or second gear, depending on how you have the car set up, starting to climb the hill through the kink at 11, up through 12, and into the hairpin there. And just as you come out at 12, there's just a little rise, very easy to get the back end of the car loose there. Then it's downhill again through the left-handed kink at 13. That's absolutely flat out. Won't even go to the apex there. They'll stay to the right-hand side for the bowl, turn 14. There's about 27 different ways you can go around that corner. You can hook the inside blue and white curbs, you can go wide and then cut back, or you can go shallow and drift wide. It really doesn't seem to make a lot of difference unless you've got somebody right up your tailpipes, and then you tend to want to make them go around the outside. You'll stay slightly tighter. It's not necessarily the fastest way around the circuit. Another lap completed, the 26th. 201.729 by the leader, 201.788 from second place, as they've got a little bit of clear track now as they go through turn 2. Next car that they will go by is Tommy Gröberg in the SRS Team Sorg Rennsport Porsche number 427, 5th in GT4. Bit of a battle going on further back as well between the Mercedes of SMP Sergei Sirotkin and Klaus Bachler in the dynamic Porsche for 6th and 7th position. Ajith Kumar Racing by BKR, the 901. This is the caramel wafer coloured car, as Peter Mackay pointed out earlier on.
Shows you how my mind works.
Yes, I see what you mean though.
Yeah.
Grey Duns or originally, or Tunnocks more recently. It's Mathieu Detré behind the wheel of that 901. Asymmetric liveried red, white and orangey yellow there. Just needs a little bit of metallic silver on it to read.
I think they have to for Mugello. They need to do that. Get a bit of metallic silver to replace the white. The car's been run by Bas Kutten Racing, who are a total stalwart of this paddock, and they're looking to kind of bounce back. They were absolutely robbed at Barcelona. They were in place to win the GT4 category, and they had some sort of bizarre fuel issue late on in the race, which cost them the race. It was really, really painful to watch. I can't imagine what it was like for that crew. But Bas Kutten, he's won lots, he's lost lots. He knows exactly what it's like. And that crew, they're running that car and running it well.
And this is, of course, the battle for 7th position in the overall and in GT3.
Yeah, Sergei Sirotkin sitting in 6th at the moment in the SMP Racing Mercedes. It's been run by Haupt Racing Team. The dynamic GT car, the white and blue Visit Dubai-backed machine, is driven by Klaus Bachler, reigning world champion in the World Endurance Championship in GT3 LM.
I do love the Dubai skyline picked out in blue on the side of that car. Dubai Tourist Authority have supported our traditional 8 o'clock local time firework display tonight, which sort of brings in the new year of motor racing, if you like. And it's been extended a little bit this year to take account of the 20th running of the Michelin 24 Hours at Dubai, our first of 2 rounds this season of the 24H Series Middle East Trophy. Abu Dhabi next week with a huge grid. I don't think there's been more than about 30 cars down there, 32, 33 cars down there in any series in the past. There'll be over 50, we hope, next weekend. Meantime, the 2 BMWs have changed position as Max Hesse now has a 3/4 of a second lead in the red and white and black. Honestly, there is a bit of red on that car, so I can say it's red, white and black. FA Cup weekend back in the UK, 3rd round today, so a lot of people here I know will be watching the results coming in later on today.
You know how in the late 90s there was a Lister Storm that ran in a certain football club from the northeast of England, white and black, and then there was the what became the Sunderland McLaren.
The West McLaren.
Yeah, the West McLaren, which was the Sunderland car. Is that what we've got here? We've got a white and black one at the front, the Almanar racing car, and then we've got a red one.
There's red on it as well.
There's definitely plenty red on the Paradine car. So is this the Northeast Derby that's playing out between these two BMWs?
Could be. Adidas sponsored Lister Storm. Tiff Needell drove that car at various stages as well. What a beast of a machine that was. They all came to Le Mans in, I think it was 96. And Freddie Spencer, son of Freddie Hall, son of Sir John Hall, who was the owner of the club at the time.
Our very own Peter Snowden drove one for Creation Autosportif. Yeah, the blue and yellow machine. It's great hearing his stories about that era and with the engine, the big massive engine in the front of that Lister Storm. So 2 BMWs marching away at the front of the field. It's always an unknown with a new car what it's going to be like, but BMW is certainly looking very strong. Nick Damon down in the pit lane. Nick, what have you got for us?
Well, I was about to say, here comes the Rosso LMGT of Graf Racing, the 797 car, coming in for its first pit stop, but actually it stopped at the penalty box. It's got a penalty. I would like to say that if anybody was to say that's a Maserati MC12 just not quite so wide, I would accept it. It is very much a tribute machine. We know now with a Lamborghini stroke Audi V10. It comes to a halt. Getting into the car will be the Cypriot-based Evgeny Kriev. And they come off the first whiz of the tyre. Just going past me now is the GTX leader. That's the 710. That's the Lippert Lamborghini. That is stopping as well, and that is getting tyres, but not a driver change. I think the tyre degradation is such that certainly in the sun, it's not worth trying to double stick them because you just lose too much time. Just the final bit of cleaning going on for the LMGT. A very big sort of huge number of people taking pictures left, right and centre. Very popular machine to look at. I think it was Roman Rizanov who ran that first stint. They are having a little bit of a fiddle. I think they might be taking the rear deck off. I know, tightening up the rear deck. They were worried that was coming loose. General checks around. Remember, this is the 5th day of racing for the entire history of this car. And obviously, by far the most important. And they pulled into the pits, I think, quite a way down the field, but they are moving their way from the back of the grid, of course, because they were penalised in qualifying for not reading the rules and putting a pro driver in the first session when you have to put your AM driver in. But they are away. First stop of the first competitive stop has been completed.
Just going back to that, that Adidas black and white Lister Storm. Was Freddie Shepherd, who was Sir John Hall was the owner of the club. Freddie Shepherd was the chairman at the time, and their 2 sons were at Le Mans. And Joe Bradley and I, being staunch Sunderland supporters, there's this great battle going on at in the Porsches. Second place.
Backler, we're going straight past Sergei Sirotkin. Yeah. Sirotkin just got a little bit stuck behind the car collection Porsche. Yeah, and that's, the thing is as well, is Klaus Backler is driving multi-class racing almost every weekend, whereas Sergei Sirotkin won't be but of course a very, very quick driver in his own right, raced in Formula 1 for Williams, so there's quite a lot of ex-Formula 1 drivers in the field this weekend.
Yeah. Maybe not just quite reading the traffic of where the car collection number 30 Porsche was going to go, and Backler taking the opportunity there through the switchbacks of 4, 5 and 6 to make that position. Just want to finish this thing about Brothers and I. So we decided that we were going to adopt that West McLaren as the Sunderland McLaren. It had a red and white striped roof, and it was red and white, but it was the red and white striped roof, and of course John Nielsen drove the car, and John Nielsen's helmet was also red and white striped. And some years later, I sat next to John at a WEC banquet in Paris, and John didn't speak a lot or any French, and so I was helping translate what was going on. And we were talking about those days, and I said to him, "Did you realise what we were doing?" And he said, "Oh yeah, because we got, in Scandinavia at the time, we got a lot of British football and the English leaves, so we absolutely knew. I exactly knew what you were talking about, and every time I got out the car and heard you on Radio Le Mans, I was having a chuckle to myself when I saw my red and white helmet when I was on that air blow. So it's all very good. In the pit lane, Nick Damon.
Yeah, I'm just sad there's no Gilligan cars for some reason. Oh, that's right. It's because we're rubbish. I would not want to put our quality and fortune upon any other driving car.
Trade a player for a set of tracksuits? Tony Cascarino, was it?
Not a player. Tony Cascarino, our best ever, well, equal best ever player, who obviously later sold with Steve Bruce. We are in the heart of the pit stops now. And when you were going to come to me, there were 2 cars that have been in. I'm now going to tell you the 91, the multicoloured Herberth car's gone past me. There goes the IRC. That's the big Australian single team. So far, I think everyone has stopped for tyres. There's 69. That is one of the Audis. There is the MP Motorsport, Mercedes as well. In fact, the only car that's not stopped for tyres is that big Australian Bruiser, the 2IC 111 machine. But apart from that, we had just a minute ago, we had the Bentley came in. That was the 31 Parker Racing machine. That did a full service and driver change. And we had the faster, the GTX Ginetta also came in. All of these so far have been absolutely trouble-free. These are not checking for problems or all this is an issue. They're all just running to time. But the interesting thing is, I think, is that people are just not wanting to double stint those tyres at the moment in these temperatures.
No, it doesn't appear that way. The IRC, it might be, because it's quite a light car, the IRC. It does have a big engine, but it's because it's a tube frame, it's only 1,100 kilos, so it might be that they feel they can get those tyres to work a little bit more.
You're listening to RS1, part of the Radio Show Limited network of channels on the Creventic Motorsport channel on YouTube as well. It's the opening moments. We're just over 2 hours into the Michelin 24 Hours of Dubai. Peter Mackay and John Hindhaugh in the booth. Already we have our replacements rubbing themselves down with warm halibut oil and going through their pre-race warm-up exercises. The voice of the Dubai Autodrome, as he always has been since we've been coming here, Phil Anson, and RSL's voice of the WEC, Johnny Palmer. Now into the pit lane. This is the car collection number 30 coming into the pit lane. This is the Porsche. That car reported as stationary on the circuit.
Looks like there's some sort of electrical issue, because it stopped on the entry to the pit lane as well, but Nick Damon is beside with it now.
Yeah, no, so you've taken the words out of my mouth. I was watching it come in and it just stopped, just really sort of before you have the blend line into the penalty box. Stopped there for a while, didn't do the normal flashing lights I've done Control Alt Delete, and then just got going again and trundled down and passed, which was a bit odd. We've had the SMP Mercedes number 7 with Sergei Sorokin's come in for service as well. We're about to pick up another one of the this is the second come to you car, Aston Martin, coming in as well. Obviously that's the car that's still running. I'm sure the teammates are enviously looking at its differential and drive shaft, if only that was us. From 22nd place, that car, and they are also doing a full service, number 40, full service driver and tyres. So, yeah, I'm still outside that ARC car. No one yet seems to want to double stint these things.
Thank you, Nick. It's car collection, a strong outfit, and yeah, just their Dubai 24 Hour has not started off well at all. The Rossa LM GT making its race debut in the GTX class, a class which really can catch all, a class that's at the moment had been led by the Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo of Brendan Leach for Leipert Motorsport, who have competed in all but 3 of every running of the Dubai 24 Hours. They are truly a stalwart. But yeah, the GTX class, you can put lots of different things into it. We've seen KTM crossbows, we've seen lots of different GT2 cars, Lamborghini Super Trofeo. You could put a Ferrari Challenge car in it, for example. Even 911 Racing, they bring a sort of adapted version of a 911 Cup car with a Manthey Racing kit on it. So you can kind of put lots of different things into that GTX class. So this new Rossa LM looking to go up against them. They've got ambitions to build a full homologated GT3 car, a GT3 version of that car, but also a GT2 and a road version. I've actually seen a road version testing out in the snow. Slightly better weather conditions here in Dubai.
Ethan Gialdini has just put the fastest lap of the Team CMR's Ginetta in last time around, the number 795, 2 minutes 2.5. That car perhaps going a little slower than it had done earlier in the week, as pointed out by one of our correspondents. earlier on at RSL_studio using the hashtag 24H series, please. Good to have your company wherever you are, watching or listening around the world as the Rossa is into the bowl. And Nick Damon can give us just a wee bit more in the pit lane. What you got, Nicholas?
Yeah, we had the 88 in from 4th place Dragon Racing with Matt Bell. That was tyres, he stayed on board. We also had the Manamuri motors by EB Motors. That has Patrick Niederhauser. He stayed on board as well, but got a free set of boots before going down to the fuel. Right in front of me at the moment is the 470. That's the WS Competition BMW. That's the GT4 version. Here comes Max Hess from the lead, just going past me now in the 777. And then behind him, from 3rd place, is the Winward Racing. So 1st and 3rd are in the pits together, trundling down. 2nd place, the red one, not there. So 33 laps they've done as they come in. We also have the 24. That's the Visit Dubai Porsche 911 as well. So 3 of the top 5 or 6 have all come in. Just wondering whether I might have missed the other. I don't think I missed the other. No, I don't know. Did I miss the other BMW? Yeah, it's on that one. I'll tell you that because the red car just left the pits, and I've been looking at a couple of other things going on. So we are right in the heart of the changeover situation now. Interestingly, it's I'm looking ahead of me and do a tyre change, that GT4 car. I think that's taking an age, and of course you realise they have to do 20 wheel nuts, not 4 on those things, because it's still
I think,
with nuts rather than with
Nick,
the centre.
Good opportunity now to explain what is going on in the pit lane. People perhaps who aren't au fait with this championship will see people wandering around in shorts and be wondering, what, do we not care about safety here? That's not the case at all.
No, we've gone back to the 70s, that's what happened. No, what it basically is, for those of you who don't know about how the 24-hour series works, is that the fuelling is done in a separate fuel station, and the people in the fuel station, they are fully fireproofed up. Now, it can be, depending on the circuit, at pit in or pit out. Here at Dubai, it's at pit out, so the cars will run all the way down to the end of the pit lane, past the 2 Dragon pits, which is the last 2 on pit out. They'll then make a sharp right-hand turn, travelling at 15 miles an hour. They then curve back on themselves. I think there's 10 what look like standard supermarket fuel pumps, but they are actually smart pumps. They've added quite a bit of technology to them over the last few years. They will then receive the correct amount of fuel, which they preset, so it'll be the correct amount of fuel for your maximum refill, which may be 95 litres or 100 litres or what it may be, or of course in code 60 it'll be less, and they will then go back on their way again. If they do get the fuel number wrong, they will be penalised if they go over the fuel number, because they know exactly what's going in. And coming towards me, and Toby Sowery, who's put in a fantastic first session with the red and gold Paradigm BMW machine. He's on an extra lap from the first 2. There is going to be a driver change on that one. It's a bit right down the far end of the pit lane, so I can't tell you exactly who's getting in. But of course, being the pro in the Pro-Am team, you are going to be careful with it. I just say that actually. Yeah, they are doing it. The guy I thought it was actually waiting for the car in the previous pit. But there is a third driver change going on, as we have a couple of cars coming towards me now, which I believe, one of which looks like the Optima Motorsport. It is the Optima Motorsport McLaren with Benji Goter on board, and that comes to a top. We had the Team Motor Park Mercedes that came in from 5th, because that's out of sequence. It won't be 5th when everyone's finished their run. We had on the front of the car, we have both the positions when it came to the pits. It says 004, for example, Optimum, and the first 3 letters of the driver. They are going to run through, and we have another Aston Martin, and are about to run away. It looks like a pretty standard. Sorry, just for the Optimum, they're having a little bit of a look around the rear right as well. It's not quite as straightforward as the others, so they are perhaps worried about something on that car. They've now got less worried about it. They convince themselves it's okay, and that back left tyre's gone back on again. But we're right in the thick of the pits.
down there in the pits as the Optimum McLaren leaves. Nicely done, and heads towards the pit lane. The 992s will now, 992 class car will gradually climb up. The best of them, Paul Mayer, in the Sebledew Racing number 992, is in 19th position. I think next time around, James Winslow will be scored in the lead for Haas RT. Certainly if he doesn't come in, he will. And it might even, well, Josef Kral might be in 2nd place for Ferrari, but they've not yet made their fuel stops as far as I can see. James Winslow coming round towards the last part of the circuit now in the number 21 Haas RT Ferrari. Second in the AM class until he crosses the line. Paradigm Competition is the leader, but that car stationary in the BMW, and there goes into the pit lane, but scored as the leader, so he's got into the pits just underneath our feet is the timing line, and the Haas RT then scored as the leader at the end of 35 laps. So that's another manufacturer who have led a lap. There goes Kalle Rovanperä, he'll be scored in seconds, so he might be leading next time around in the 969 Proton Huber Competition Porsche. He's the best of the Pro-Am class at the moment. So that, now there's a headline coming in 5.3 kilometres time, Peter.
Rovanperä leads in Dubai is what we're going to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who would have thought being a WRC driver would make you really good at fuel saving?
Very good. Yeah, very good. He hasn't got to worry about hybrid here. Well, they won't have to this year either, in fact.
No comment. Kalle Rovanperä, yeah, great to have him here. I mean, he impressed so much last year, dovetailing his WRC commitments. He did a limited season in WRC last year and raced in Carrera Cup Benelux with the Red Ant team, who aren't here with us in Dubai this year, but a real stalwart of the 24H series as well. He won actually some races in the Carrera Cup Benelux straight away, and he's now stepping up to the full GT3R and has his sights set on some more GT3 racing.
Well, as we're talking about newcomers to GT3 into this form of racing, and we've got a new member of our team back in our London production studios. Hello to Pete, who is pushing the buttons for us there, and also to all of the team in Cologne, audio engineers, sound engineers, directors, vision engineers, graphics. Hello to the full team there, Ulf, Natasha, Florian, all the rest of you, hi Flo, and all the rest of the team. Good to have your company. And of course we got Flip here as well. So big team making this happen for you in sound and vision. Tim Gray up in London as well for us this Saturday morning in the UK. Well, coming round, Peter, to what? 2:15, so 2.25 hours or 1.25 hours, should I say, since the start of the race. A couple of hours since we've been on air. Your initial impressions of what we've seen, the pace of the various cars at the front of the field, and while you're doing that, I'll swap over with Johnny Palmer.
It's been very interesting. I think the BMW factory will be delighted with their new GT3 Evo, the BMW M4 GT3 Evo, both in the hands of Paradigm Competition and Almanor Racing by WRT. Very, very strong so far. The pace looks ominous. If they can avoid mistakes, if they can avoid issues, they're in a really strong position. I would think that Pure Racing with their Porsche, they might be a little bit disappointed. They, shall we say, showed their hand in qualifying. They showed what they could do pace-wise. All of the Porsches were hit with 20 kilograms of additional weight this morning, actually, before the race, and that appears to be holding them back for now. But we are such a long way from the end of this race. But one thing, well, I never thought I'd be saying, but I'm very glad I am. Kalle Rovanperä, the double WRC world champion, is leading here at the Dubai 24 Hours and proving himself to have one of the quite key attributes of being an endurance racing driver is being light on fuel. So he leads after 36 laps. Only Ian James in the Heart of Racing Mercedes has been able to do that same length of stint. So an amazing job so far from Kalle Rovanperä. He was quizzed by Sportscar 365 over whether he'd be up for driving a new Toyota GT3 if or when it turned up, and he said, yeah, it would be natural for me to drive it when it comes out, as he comes into the pit lane right now. Joining us now in the commentary booth, Johnny Palmer. Johnny, what do you make of this? Double World Rally Champion at the front of the field.
It's not a surprise, in all truth. I was lucky enough to call Kalle in a couple of Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux races last season. I know he did an awful lot more than just the two at Imola, but he is just a mean force behind the wheel of any kind of racing car, whether it be on a single lap stage or around the Dubai Autodrome. So very, very capable pair of hands. He's going to get out of the car then after that superb couple of stints, and the 969 car scored as the race leader. It is all change in our global broadcast centre at this point, because in just a tick we'll have a chat with Phil Anson back on the airwaves, but Joe Bradley is in the pit lane taking over from Nick. Good afternoon, Joe.
Yeah, afternoon everybody. What a great way to start my Dubai 24 Hours with the World Rally Champion handing over the 969 numbered Porsche from the lead of the Dubai 24 Hours, and he's handing it over to his teammate who has a disability with an arm. So it's not a straightforward driver change, an actual steering wheel change as well to assist the new driver. Which I'm not quite sure the name of the driver, because it all happened very, very quickly and I was screened from seeing it. That is done, and that car is on its way. So all very, very neat and tidy, even with a steering wheel change to boot.
Calais Rothenberger's teammates in the 969 Proton Uber competition car, Yuka Hong